So you want to learn Python, but maybe you feel like you're starting from absolute zero. Well, you're in exactly the right place. We are going to totally demystify the basics and get you on your way to coding in like the next 5 minutes. Let's jump right in.
Okay, I want you to think about something you do every single day. Logging into Instagram, Amazon, your email. You type in your name, your password, and boom, you're in. It feels like magic, right? Well, here's the secret. That magic isn't magic at all. It's actually just a handful of really simple, logical rules. And today, you're going to learn exactly what they are. You're about to see how these huge, complex apps are built on ideas you can totally grasp in minutes.
So where do we possibly start? Well, we start with the most basic, fundamental tool a programmer has, a way to hold on to information. Let's talk about something called variables.
Honestly, the best way to think about a variable is just as a labeled box. That's it. You have a piece of info, you need to remember it for later, so you pop it in a box and slap a label on the front. Seriously, that's a variable.
And just look how perfectly that idea shows up in the code. When you see name equals Aman, you are literally telling the computer, hey, make me a box, label it name, and put the word Aman inside. Same thing with age equals 21. That equal sign isn't like in math class, it's not asking a question. It's a command. It's the action of assigning a value to the box. Now here is why beginners absolutely love Python. In a lot of other languages, you have to be super specific and tell the computer exactly what kind of stuff you're putting in the box. But Python, it's smart. You just hand it the data and it goes, oh, Aman is clearly text and 21 is a number. Got it. It does the work for you.
And these are basically the main kinds of information you'll be storing in those boxes. A string is just what programmers call text. An integer is any whole number, no decimals. A float is a number that does have a decimal point. And a Boolean, well, a Boolean is super simple. It can only ever be one of two things, true or false. That's it. And trust me, that simple idea is about to become crazy important.
Okay, so we can store data in boxes. Cool. But it's kind of boring if our program can only talk to itself, right? So the next step, the really exciting step, is to make our code interactive, to actually get information from a real person and show them something back.
This is how you have a real conversation with code. That input function basically pauses the program, puts a message on the screen, and just waits for the user to type something and hit enter. Whatever they type gets stored right into our name variable, our box. Then the print function takes over and displays a message back to them. This simple little exchange is the heart of every single form, login page, or chatbot out there.
And now for the really fun part. This is where we go from a simple script that just follows orders to a program that can actually think. This is where we make our code smart.
So how does that even work? How does Netflix decide if you can watch a movie? Or how does a game know if you have enough points to level up? It all boils down to asking a very simple question.
It all comes down to the if-then rule. Programmers call it a conditional. Let's walk through this. First, we put the number 18 in our age box. Then we hit the most important line. If age greater than or equal to 18. The computer looks inside the box and asks a question. Is the number in here greater than or equal to 18? The answer to that can only be true or false. See, there's our Boolean. If the answer is true, it runs the indented code right below it. If the answer is false, it completely skips that code and jumps down to run the code under else. It has to pick one path, it can't do both.
And that simple if-else idea, that is the engine behind pretty much everything. If user subscription is active, then play the movie, else show the please pay screen. If the item is on sale, then apply the discount, else charge the full price. It's the same exact pattern, over and over again.
Okay, so you get the building blocks now. But, there's a big difference between code that just works and code that's actually good. So let's take a quick look at how you can start thinking like a pro. Now look at these two chunks of code. They do the exact same thing. The one on the left totally works, nothing wrong with it, but the production-style code on the right, that's how a professional would write it. See how they've packaged that if-else logic into a neat little bundle called def check eligibility? That's a function. Think of it like a reusable recipe or a mini program that you can call anytime you need it.
So why even bother? Well, first, it's just so much cleaner and easier to read. But the big deal is that it's reusable. If we need to check someone's age in 10 different places in our app, we don't copy and paste that if-else block 10 times. No way. We just call our one function. This makes our code so much easier to manage when it starts to get bigger.
All right, it's time. Time to put all these pieces together.
You now have all the tools you need. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to build your very first, real, working Python program.
And we're going to bring it full circle, right back to where we started, that login screen. We're going to build a really simple version. It'll ask for a username, ask for a password, check if they're correct, and then print a success or fail message. This little mission uses everything we just learned.
And here's the code that pulls it off. We use input twice to get the info and store it in our variables. Now look closely at that if statement. See the double equals sign, equals equals? This is super important. A single equals puts something in a box. A double equals asks if two things are the same. It compares them. And that little word and means that both of these things have to be true. The username has to be admin and the password has to be 1234. If even one is wrong, the whole thing is false and it jumps to the else block.
And that's it. That's the formula. Variables to store your stuff, input and output to talk to people, and conditions to make decisions. These three concepts are literally the foundation of every single app you use every single day.
You just went from knowing nothing to writing a real program that works. You have the essential building blocks. You're ready to start. So the only question is, what are you going to build first?